So you would possess me. I see this great continent without wars is nonetheless filled with fools.
Hey YouTube, what you know good? Here's the Reverend and he's back with another video brought to you by Project KNM, where we interrupt your day with some fresh art goodness. So, what's going on today? Well, today we got a character from one of my favorite fighting games, and also the same fighting game that got me into fighting games in the first place, Darkstalkers. The character is the cursed warrior Bishamon. For those who don't know much about Darkstalkers, and that's probably a lot of you since Capcom keeps ignoring it for the most part, it's a 2D fighting game series that debuted in I think around the year 1994, with colorful characters and really expressive squash and stretch animation that, despite its inherently dark themes, fits real well together. Basically, Darkstalkers takes the idea of monsters from folklore and Hollywood, puts a Capcom spin on them, like they do, and puts them all in just a no-holds-barred competition, all orchestrated by a cosmic planet eater named Pyron. Think of Pyron like a Capcom equivalent to Marvel's Galactus, except less machine-looking, more psychic energy. It's like a being of psychic energy. In fact, I ended up drawing him some time ago, so check the vid description for that speed paint if you're interested. So, what's the deal with Bishamon? Well, Bishamon is originally a man who encountered an interesting set of armor and a sword in an antique shop. After he purchased it, and after a while finally put it on, turns out this was no ordinary armor. It was cursed, and he was essentially taken over by the armor. It had a mind of its own, and it started using Bishamon's body to start just endless killing in battlefields and whatnot. Turns out this armor is named Hanya, and it's probably, I think the term for this type of creature is Tsukumogami. Basically a monster in Japanese folklore that arise from artifacts or basically really any kind of item that goes untouched for at least 100 years. The idea is that if something as simple as an umbrella to something like a suit of armor goes untouched for at least 100 years, it begins to take on a life and mind of its own, which is what happened with Hanya here, which is why he was able to take over Bishamon and basically use him like a puppet. And the sword is cursed too, or at least it's very dangerous. It's I think it's named Kien, which means demon fire, which actually gets, and the difference between Kien and other Japanese swords is that, or really any sword, is that it's sharpened in such a way that instead of getting duller the more blood it touches, because, you know, blood and fat and just anything coming in contact with a sword tends to get it duller, Kien actually gets sharper the more it does so, to the point where it's considered essentially drinking blood, like a bloodthirsty sword. In fact, maybe it's less the way it's sharpened, maybe it actually is blood drinking. I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember. It's been a while. But simply put, with a cursed armor and a sword that gets sharper the more it kills, needless to say, Bishamon was really good at killing people, even if he didn't want to. He had to essentially find a way to free himself from the curse of this armor. Good luck with that. Now, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be able to pull off what I was trying to do in this particular drawing. I mean, I did kind of rush it due to time limitations. But the thing I wanted to get across in this drawing was the look of panic and despair that Bishamon was feeling while he was being consumed by the power of the armor. If you see Bishamon in the games or in the OVA, if you've ever actually seen that, they had a 4-episode OVA called Night Warriors. Bishamon, while being consumed by the armor, has like blue hair and glowing eyes, So what I was doing in this drawing was that I was going to, what I portray is that his skin starts to slowly turn blue, his eyes going red. This is a picture of Bishamon right when the armor's taking over. Hanya is probably laughing at his new host while he's trying to yell for his wife or he needs to run before she becomes the very first victim. At least, again, this is the idea I had in my head. Not entirely satisfied with how it came out in the long run. I'll admit I did kind of rush this due to time limitations. I know some people say quality over quantity, and I totally agree, but at the same time, you need to be able to put deadlines on yourself. You need to make yourself do... Sometimes you just gotta do the thing, you know? Do the thing. Well, anyway... not only was this slightly rushed due to time, but this is also the first drawing I had after a forced hiatus. So, and the hiatus is due to one of the big reasons why I haven't been uploading lately. My hard drive freaking died. Which means all the stuff that I was working on, all the stuff, the Clip Studio files, the video files, because I recorded myself doing these, and even the files that I was going to render and upload for YouTube, gone. Freaking gone. Damn it. So needless to say, not only did I have some rust, proverbial rust, but also a lot of frustration. And I think about it, that's probably why I wanted to draw Bishamon. Just someone vicious, raging, and violent at the moment. Man, I guess this is just my attempt to vent. Then again, I almost never used Bishamon when I first started playing Darkstalkers. Yeah. Again, this was the fighting game that got me into fighting games. It was early elementary school when we would occasionally go to field trips at the skating rink. Remember skating rinks? Yeah, those were awesome. But of course, they had an arcade there. They had Street Fighter 2 Natch, and they also had, I think, Fatal Fury. One of the Real Bout or Fatal Fury games. But of course, the one that caught my attention was Darkstalkers. I ended up using either John Taliban or Lord Raptor, but I think the original one that caught my eye out of all the characters was Sasquatch. Just a big old giant white ape dude. He could freeze you with his breath. That was awesome. Growing up, when you're a little kid and you see something like that, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And he always looked just really bummed out during the game over screen. More motivation to never lose, you know? And speaking of Darkstalkers, since I mentioned Capcom, those of you who don't know fighting games will still recognize that name. Like I was saying, Capcom is, of course, the company that makes Street Fighter, so you probably know who Capcom is, even if you've never heard of Darkstalkers. Now, speaking of which, I just need to get this out of my system while I got the microphone on and I'm recording this. I occasionally hear people say really silly things about, comparing certain games to other games in a way that just doesn't make sense. In other words, I've heard people say that Darkstalkers is just Street Fighter with monsters. And honestly, that's kind of bugging me. It just... No. No, I really think people need to quit continuously comparing all these fighting games to Street Fighter. I mean, I get it. Street Fighter 2 did a lot of things first. It made fighting games popular, put it on the map. I get it. What I don't get is people trying to say so-and-so is like Street Fighter, but with blank. It's just not a very accurate depiction. Yeah, I'm being pedantic and all that, but, I got a point. Most people who try to describe non-Street Fighter fighting games like that are probably just trying to make it easier to understand for those who just don't play many fighting games or any games at all, but no. Just no. It makes no sense. Again, this is just, as a gamer myself, I hear this, it sounds stupid. Unreal Tournament is different enough to not say it's like Doom, but but with, you know, aliens and capture the flag. Sonic the Hedgehog is different enough to not say that it's like Super Mario Brothers, but with more speed and fewer Italians. Shoot, if I really want to rustle some jimmies, not saying that I do, but if I wanted to, I could say that Street Fighter Alpha is just Darkstalkers with Street Fighter characters. I won't say that, but I could say that. And I'll just leave that idea in your mind. I'll let it simmer in there. Maybe some of you will think, what the hell is he talking about? Is it really? Maybe you'll go look the two up, compare the two, see when Street Fighter Alpha came out, see the mechanics, maybe play both of them and understand the similarities, get an idea of what I'm talking about. Some of you will dismiss it. Some of you may actually agree. Some of you might gripe at me for even bothering to suggest it, but I'm pretty sure most of you are going to be thinking, oh my goodness, who cares? You just remember though, I never said it was the case. I'm not even saying it's a big deal. I just wanted to get this off my chest, get it out of my system, and give you guys a little something to think about. Anyway, I think now is going to be the time where I call it. So that said, if I haven't completely driven you off with my rambling, and you'd like to see what else I got to draw, or maybe you have some suggestions, ideas, don't be a stranger. Your thoughts in the comments. Got some suggestions, some questions, some criticisms, some complaints, some compliments, whatever. Drop a thought. If you got the time to watch the video, you got time to leave me your thoughts. Especially because I do plan on uploading some more videos, because this right here is just one out of many. I lost a lot of content, but in the interim, in my hiatus, I have made some more, including a lot of black and white illustrations, comic style / manga style, mainly because I needed the practice, and I used Inktober last year to do just that. So that's something you can look forward to. Oh, and if you really do dig what I do, you could just tell me you want more, but you could also show me you want more by hitting that subscribe button. And I think there's like a bell notification thing now, or whatever. I don't know. This YouTube keeps updating like crazy. I don't know how the system works anymore, but whatever. Anyway, with that said, I think it's time to wrap this up. So till next time, you guys take it easy. Memento mori, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Kill the feed.